My name is Lori Ballin, and I am a full-time lead generator. So I lead generate full-time for my real estate business, which is based in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I also lead generate for real estate agents all over the nation through my marketing company, which is called Ballin Brands. So today I'm going to go over a presentation on essentially creating a digital footprint, how to get more leads online. And we're going to talk primarily about your website and about search engine optimization, and creating a website that ranks well on the search engines is going to be our primary focus. What kind of website we should have, what kind of content we should create, that type of thing. So I'd love it if you would follow me on Twitter at Lori Ballin, on Facebook at Lori Ballin Method. We have a couple hashtags we'll be using today, hashtag Ballin and hashtag Ballin Method. On my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Lori Ballin, you're going to find the latest and greatest on training from my personal experiences. So these are continuous fresh content that I'm feeding YouTube there on what's actually working in digital strategies for real estate specifically, although these types of strategies can transfer over to other industries and niches. I'm also on LinkedIn there, and my blog is loriballin.com. Now, I may mention some tools and some software today. I don't necessarily recommend that you run out and buy everything that I talk about. In fact, I would recommend that you don't. When I first started doing this, I was actually completely broke and still managed to close 100 real estate transactions from the internet my first year over at Keller Williams. And I didn't have these tools. I didn't have all these bells and whistles. So, I believe you have to kind of earn in to the extras. And you can do everything I teach without these tools, or with lower budget, lower expense, tools that aren't expensive, or tools that are free, even if you're creative and clever that way. I earned in and make them part of my budget. So I do use them. I will talk about them. I just want you to know that back then I didn't have all these tools and I still was able to do all that. Okay. So don't get caught up in I have to have what Lori has, because it really just isn't true at all. All right. So um, this is essentially what we're going to look at. This is my real estate team for Las Vegas, and these are where my leads came from in 2016. That were direct cold web leads, not referrals, not any business from anybody I knew. Okay, so almost 75% came from organic Google, from the search engines, and just under 11% came from Google pay-per-click, and just under 15%, or just over 14% actually, there came from Facebook ads. And this is how I prefer it. I do everything I can to get my business organically from the search engines, because it's a gift that keeps on giving. And even if I'm not paying per click or paying for ads at that time, I still get leads all the time. And I know a lot of people that run big businesses purely off pay-per-click marketing, search engine marketing, and social marketing. And if things get tight and they have to shift or cut and they lose that budget, their leads stop. And so I don't want that to happen. And so I like to keep I wouldn't mind eventually if 50% of that pie became different types of paid advertising, as long as the ROI was there. But I do like to keep a strong presence there on the search engines. So my digital marketing plan basically looks like this. It's primarily search engine optimization, as I just showed you, adding in a touch of search engine marketing, and that was our Google pay-per-click, and then our social media marketing, which is our Facebook ads. And then we're also dabbling in Twitter ads and Instagram and Pinterest and LinkedIn, but primarily it's Facebook that we're focusing on right now, because that's where a lot of our clients are. And then the other source of my business comes from other real estate agents, and that's a fantastic flow of business to my team as well. And the fact that I do speak and train helps me generate more referrals. And I do get referrals here in Las Vegas, in Henderson, North Las Vegas, and I also have a partner in Reno. So that's fantastic. I love that leg of our business as well. So what is SEO? Search engine optimization. Essentially, our goal is to create content and optimize our website in such a way that it shows up on the search engine results pages. Those are also called the SERP So you'll hear people refer to it as the SERP, search engine results page. So when somebody does a search, we want to show up on that search engine results page. Hopefully they're clicking through after that, right? So let's talk about that. The goal is to have our pages rank for keywords that people are actually searching. That's an important one. You know, I have what do I have right now? I think it's on my Vegas site. I have about, I want to say 8,000 keywords that rank on the search engines. But it's really about 2,000 of those that are actually bringing me traffic. You know, the other 6 are there, but they're either, you know, they just don't generate a lot of traffic, or somehow their rankings for super long tail keywords that have lots of phrases strung together in that keyword phrase, and people are just aren't searching that way. And so, you know, there's always going to be a primary set of keywords that people are actually searching. So I do a lot of keyword research and social research, actually, so that I can study how people are searching. And then we want to get clicks from those rankings. So there's some strategy in how to set up our titles of our pages, and the little snippets, those little previews of our pages that are fed from the meta descriptions. And we want to make sure that we're getting clicks from those rankings. And then the goal, of course, is to get leads from those clicks, and eventually we want those to close, right? That's the whole goal. So show up on the search engines, get clicks through to our website, get leads from our website, and then lead to closing. And each one of those pieces has some strategy involved in it. So here's an example. So you Google Boston real estate agent, and you wind up on the search engine's result page. As we said, this is called the SERP. So the first thing that you're going to see here are sponsored ads. So these are being fed in by Google AdWords, and this is the pay per click that I was referring to. So we're not going to be showing up on the pay per click unless we're spending money on those ads. We're going to be showing up below then. So everything below there is going to be our organic search results, and that's where we're attempting to show up without paying per click. Okay? Now, let's talk about how we rank on the search engines. What does it take to actually show up on those search engines? Well, you're going to need a domain name and a website host. And I want to talk a little bit about this because it is very important. In full disclosure, I own a marketing company, and we build real estate websites. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that. They are powered by IDX Broker, which I'm gonna cover. However, we're not the only choice, and that's not the only way to do it. Okay. What's going to be important for you is, let's start with the domain name, registering your domain name. Okay. In the old days, registering a keyword in your top level domain name, such as Boston real estate agent, was really good for search engine rankings. Today, it's not. Today, it has absolutely no factor in the Google algorithm, and in fact can even trip a spam filter to have that in there. So it's not important. What's important is that it fits nicely on a business card. It's easy for you to say and remember. It doesn't alienate anyone. It can include your brand, or it doesn't have to. So when I say doesn't alienate anyone, I'm talking about using a specialty domain such as LasVegasShortSales.com. Now, in 2010, that was a very relevant URL for us here in Las Vegas, because we were primarily distressed properties. And that was our specialty for years, was short sales. Well, now that's not so much anymore. So I wouldn't want to ever use that domain anymore. And so for a long-term strategy, it doesn't make sense to put a whole lot into a URL that isn't going to be long-term, unless it's, you know, it's specifically niche oriented, and it's going to stay there, and you have certain business cards for your niche website and others for your primary. That's fine too. Okay. But if I put Las Vegas luxury specialist, and I'm handing out business cards that say Las Vegas luxury specialist, I may alienate somebody that's got a $200,000 property or a $100,000 condo, and I don't want to do that. Because we do serve everybody. So that's what I'm talking about there. All right. Brand search, I'm not going to get into too heavily, but brand search is growing, and it is part of the algorithm with Google. And the more times people search your brand in association with your service or product, the more likely you are to rank in the future for that product or service. So that is why you will see Ballin my last name in all of my domains and in all of my business names, all of my brands, and because they support each other, and it's a very strong, growing signal on the search engines. And so at one time, everybody was teaching be generic, have something like LasVegasHomes.com, or liveinlasvegas.com, search all properties in LasVegas.com, search homes, that type of thing, which is fine. It's fine as well. However, I personally have made a choice that I want to push the brand. And for me, I own a marketing company and a speaking company and whatnot. So it's a big benefit for me to have a brand that crosses all the channels. So that's why I chose it. It doesn't mean you need to. All right. When you register your domain name, it's actually a positive signal to Google to register it for longer than you might think. A lot of people go in and register a domain name for a year. And I'm going to suggest that you commit to a domain name and you register it for 5 or 10 years. And sometimes when doing that, you'll get a discount. And what does it really cost to register a domain for 10 years? Like $150. And it's worth sending that signal and having that as a long-term registration than it is just to have it for a year. Okay, be careful about buying an existing domain, because you're going to inherit positive and negative SEO. So if you don't know much about that website, and if it's been penalized by Google, you're gonna want to do some deep research. And again, buying an existing domain name for the keyword is pointless. Buying an existing domain name for the value that it has and for the SEO that it has, and especially if it's connected to a hosted website that those pages rank, then it might have some value. And then it will, then depending on the website, it could have significant value. But don't buy it because it's got a keyword and you think it's going to rank better. Buy it if you want a keyword in it because you like it, great, but not because you think it's going to rank better, because it's not going to in 2017. All right, so let's talk about choosing your real estate website. A great real estate website is mobile responsive. Now, that should be a no-brainer in 2017. Mobile responsive should just be a given at this point. We shouldn't be having to pay extra for it. It should just be a standard, because over 50% of Google's website traffic now is coming from mobile versus desktop. So it's a must. It should integrate well with IDX. There are some places that still don't have IDX syndication. And there's some that have it, but the way it feeds is different. We have to get very special licenses around that IDX. So there's workarounds, but I prefer to have an IDX-driven website. So IDX basically stands for your Internet Data Exchange. It's the broker reciprocity that says, hey, we're all going to put listings into this portal, which, our MLS, where we put our listings in ourselves, and we're going to allow them to syndicate out to every website out there that has IDX permission. So you're saying, I agree to share my listings on Zillow, on Trulia, on Realtor.com, on Homes.com, on Lori Ballen's website, on whoever has access to that IDX feed, right? And so what you might not know is that you can choose different IDX providers, and there's a reason why you would do that. And coming up here, I'm going to explain to you why we chose the one we did and what it means for your website. A great website will allow for additional pages. If you've got a website that limits how many pages you can add, you're going to have challenges building a big website that's strong on the search engines. Okay, at one time, you could build a 5-page website that has, those long form pages like the skyscraper content. There's only 5 pages, and each page has 20,000 words on it, and it would rank really well, or those doorway pages, as they call them. And those aren't doing so well anymore. Google really wants to provide a quality experience for its visitors, and so it's looking for big, healthy, meaty websites. And so you want to be able to add additional pages. And I prefer a website that has a blog built in as well. You could have a blog on one domain, on one website, and then have an IDX on another and have them feed back and forth. Ideally, I'd like to see it all live on the same domain. And this is really important. The only time you have complete control is when you own your website and your own domain name and your own data, okay? So, a lot of times your brokerage will provide you with access to a website, okay? I've always had this with I've been with only a couple brokerages, but we had it with both. We've had several. And I know lots of people with other brokerages that have different platforms, but they're provided or made available at a low cost through the brokerage. Well, if you don't own that website, you are building on somebody else's on somebody else. You're investing in somebody else's asset. It's like renting a home instead of buying a home. Okay, if you don't own it, that means if you leave, unless you own the domain and you have the ability to back up the website database, like if it's a WordPress database that the web provider has given you access yourself to back up the database, so that way you could move to a new WordPress platform with a new host and put your website back up and you own that domain, that's okay. But a lot of these other ones where you're really just leasing a website, you don't own it. You're at the mercy of the relationship with that website provider and your brokerage, or at the mercy of, they could suddenly increase their prices out of your budget and now you can't afford it anymore. I would like to see you have ownership and control over your content and your data when you're going to be building assets. Okay. Now, for those of you that might be listening to this that really just want a great website that's a calling card, it looks good, I want to send people there, but I have no desire to do what Lori Ballin does. I don't want to capture hundreds and thousands of leads a year. I just want a good website. Then you could lease one and not worry about it. You could have a Boomtown site that just captures leads through your pay-per-click if that's all you're interested in, not build SEO, not build onto the search engine rankings. That's different, okay? So if you're just going to be driving pay-per-click, or you just want a calling card, any of those websites are fine, because if they go away, they just go away, when you're done paying for it or whatnot. But if you want to build like what I teach, and you're going to blog, and you're going to build content, and you're going to try to rank on the search engines, you're going to want to own your own website. Okay, so let's take a look at what it might have. You're going to want to focus on the customer first. We're going to talk about that. You're going to want your website to inform. You want it to rank well in the search engines. You want it to be a quality website and be driven by your product and service, which is a benefit to the consumer. Okay. Now, I talked a little bit about mobile. Now, what I want to explain here, mobile first doesn't necessarily mean mobile responsive. Mobile first is how your content actually responds to the user. What does your menu look like? How far do they have to scroll to get to what they want? How does your navigation look like? Are you paying attention to, if they don't like this content, can they get to somewhere else really quick? That's why we put the widgets on top as an example here, so they can search for homes. So if they're reading a long form content and they really just want to search for houses, we want to give them the ability to do that. So there's a really cool app out there. It's called mobiletest.me. mobiletest.me. I don't have any affiliation with them or any special links or anything, but you're able to go in there and put any page on your website and look at it in the vertical or the horizontal, however your position of your phone, and see what that content does on that device. And you can see it on an iPad, you can see it on the different generations of iPads, you can see it on a mobile phone, all kinds of really cool ways. So I suggest that you do this. Our policy on our team is nothing gets published until you see what it looks like on mobile, because you may not realize when you're looking at a desktop and you create a piece of content and you can see everything on the screen before you scroll. That's called above the fold. Everything you can see there on the screen is above the fold before you click the little mouse button to scroll down. On a mobile device, it's going to be a completely different scroll. So you might actually have to move your finger 5 times to get it to a different screen than you would on a desktop. And so you need to break up that heavy text with images and related articles and videos, and really make sure that it's a quality user experience on a mobile device, not just a desktop. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we're going to use home values, but you're going to want to make sure that you're checking on how all this works on your mobile devices. All right, so let's talk about what a buyer really wants and what a seller really wants, because that's the most important thing, is that we're actually providing this quality user experience. There is something new in 2017. It's not new just to 2017. something new with Google, and it's called RankBrain, and it's artificial intelligence. And the Google algorithm now that determines how pages and entities rank on the search engines is now driven by this artificial intelligence. And what RankBrain does is it measures clicks, and it's looking for a quality user experience. Does that user go to Google and type in a search, land on the search engines, and then go back to the search engine and perform a new search because they didn't like what they found? That's a negative signal, and RankBrain is measuring this. So it's going to be oh so important that we are providing a quality experience for our buyers and our sellers and our visitors, and we're giving them what they want, when they want it, how they want it. Okay, so what's a product for a buyer? It's IDX listings, right? That's what they care about. Now, our blogs and things like that, they're looking for information, yes, but primarily they're looking for properties, okay? So we're going to have some of both, but we're going to focus heavily on an IDX-driven website for a buyer. And what is a product for a seller? What do you think a product for a seller is? Yeah, it's how much their home is worth. It's home values. That's what they care the most about. I'm going to show you guys how you can put that on your website. Everything else is just designed to bring them into the funnel. All right. So when you're writing blog posts on how much will it cost to sell my home in Las Vegas, and how much of a down payment do I need as a buyer in Las Vegas, and how much do I, what credit score do I need to buy a house in Las Vegas? Those are all going to be driven. They're going to be driving that top of funnel. They're going to be bringing people in early, but once those people get there, they're going to be wanting to look at properties. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have that. Here's an example from my website in Las Vegas of how people actually search. So these terms that you're looking at now are actual search terms that people use to find my website. These are called long tail keywords. You'll notice on that first one, it doesn't say gated communities. That would be a head term, gated communities, right? That would be that short, simple. People don't search like that. And they definitely don't search like that anymore, because over time, people have learned the more detailed they are in their search query when they perform that search, the more likely they are to have a page appear that matches what they were looking for. So they use phrases like that: Las Vegas gated communities for sale. That second one's hilarious. I have no idea. Look at that. Look at November 12th at 7:28 p.m. A 400,000 house in Vegas. That is why we build all of these pages I'm going to show you how to build in a second, based on price ranges and on features. Zip codes is huge in every market. Everybody Googles zip codes, okay? There's on the November 12th at 1:48 p.m., real estate for sale at Eagle Rock, Summerlin. So somebody knows the neighborhood that they want to live in, or they could have a home to sell, and they're trying to do their own comp. They're trying to look at properties that have sold or on the market so they can figure out what theirs might sell for. That's very common that these buyers are actually sellers. So we need to make it a big practice to ask all of our leads if they have a home to sell. So there's another page for you to take a look at. And you can see there that a lot of these, in my case, they're either driven by the IDX pages, which I'm going to show you, or they're driven by blog posts. So that second one, asking tenants to vacate rental in Las Vegas to sell home, I've got a blog post relating to that search. Stonebridge at Summerlin is local, hyperlocal IDX page. Vintage Valley at the Estates at Southern Highlands Golf Club is a hyperlocal IDX page that I built out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about on all of those, okay? When do Christmas decorations go up? That's connecting to my Christmas lights blog post. So 4-bedroom house for sale in Las Vegas with a swimming pool, one of my best lead generators right there, okay? So how I do all of this is by building pages by feature. And I do these through IDX Broker, and I'm going to show you some more on that. But the reason I chose IDX Broker, originally, one of the primary reasons was because it gives me the IP address when a lead registers. So the IP address, the Internet Protocol, is it's a unique identifier that's basically where the internet service provider location is with that device. So they're with their computer or their cell phone. In most cases, it's unique. Now, if they're all, everybody's at a Starbucks at once and they all decide to log into ballinvegas.com and register and become leads, then I might see several. But in most cases, they're unique to an individual. Now, I'm not seeing their address of their home or their name, but what I'm able to do is take that IP address and put it in my analytics software, and I can get more information. So I use a software called Clicky, and you'll be able to find the link to Clicky at lauriestools.com. Clicky is my favorite analytic tool. And what I can do is I can take that IP address, put it in the Find IP locator on the software, and it'll tell me now, this user, excuse me, this user entered on my blog post about buying a home in Las Vegas, a step-by-step process, okay? They were on my website for 36 minutes, which is a long time to be on a website. They performed 27 actions. So those would be clicks, pages, video views, photo gallery click-throughs. They're taking action, 27 actions. That's huge. They came from Google Organic. If that was a paid search, it would have a little $sign. I would know that it came from paid search, and then it would have the search query next to it, and I'd be able to match my Facebook ad to that visitor. Now, I have very comprehensive software, and it took me years to put all this in. So don't be overwhelmed by what I have today that you don't have. But I do use a very complicated and incredibly powerful, robust CRM or database, and it's called Infusionsoft. And what I'm able to do with Infusionsoft, and again, you can find the link on lauriestools.com, or I'll put it here in the video. What I'm able to do with Infusionsoft is, once we have that IP address, I can actually now, when the leads come in, it'll add tags that say what page they landed on, what source they came from, and when it closes, I can put in a commission amount, and I can actually assign ROI to a page on my website, or to a blog post, or to my paid advertising and whatnot with this kind of tracking. So that's one of the reasons why I chose IDX Broker in the beginning, was so that it could feed this tracking system that we were putting in, okay? I also love that I can customize the forms. How your website asks, requests, or forces registration is key to your lead volume. It's also key to your search engines, because there's a wrong way to do it too, as in the eyes of the search engines, for a user experience. And I can change all of these settings. So for example, on this sign up form right here, I don't like it when the sign up forms default to an all red font that says you must register right now. That type of thing. When that's the default on a lot of these. I don't like that. I want it to look valuable. I want it to look like I'm offering that person something special, and that by signing up, I'm not just making them sign up to look at pictures. They're actually going to get something. There's a benefit there. You can put video on this page. Now, I've been testing different videos. It's my conversion rate went down a little bit when I put in a video, so I'm gonna try another style and try it again. But I love that I can play with it and A/B test it and test colors and images and what works on the form and what doesn't work on the form. And then I can also change how I get registration. Okay, you could have a killer website, ranking on the search engines. You're number one for the most popular terms. You're just killing it. You've done everything right on SEO, and you never get a lead because your forced registration isn't on or isn't set up correctly. Okay, that's a big deal. Now, I don't like when websites force registration on the first land. So you type in something in your search bar, and you type in homes for sale in Las Vegas, and you see a page on there that says the best properties, get the full list, blah blah blah. You click on it, and right on the first page a pop-up is there, and you have to register to proceed. Google doesn't like that either, and they have been very clear about the fact that the search engine algorithm is going to start penalizing people that have first land pop-ups like that gray out the back of the website and then force a registration on the first land. So there's lots of ways to do these. You can request it only and not force it, so they can actually close the box if you want to do it that way. You're just suggesting registration, but you're not forcing it. Or you can force it based on how long they're on your website or how many pages they view. I personally have tested and measured using heat maps to see where people click on a website and what they find valuable. And in my experience, I have found that they like to register at the photos. And so they don't necessarily like to register at the details, the little IDX details. They don't often download the PDF or send to somebody else or print. They don't typically register that way, but they will register quite often for photos. Okay. We find about a 5.5% registration rate at the photo gallery. Okay. So basically let's just say out of a 100 out of 100 visits to your website, 5 or 6 of them are going to become leads at your photo gallery registration. Okay. So you can play with that and see where you want that to pop up. And you can get higher conversion rates by offering offers and home buyer kits and home seller kits and different places in the user experience. The more personalized, the better. But this is an example of just forcing at the photo gallery here. Okay, so this is an example of another customizable option, and so this is important to me too on my website. This is the details view. So when somebody clicks through and they see the property, this is completely customizable. So on IDX Broker, there's lots of different templates. Well, the way I do it is I only show one photo. And I think this is where real estate agents make a mistake. The most valuable piece of your IDX feed, of your real estate listings, is the photo gallery, your photos. That's what everybody wants to see. They already see the price. They already see the number of bedrooms, and everything else is just extra at that point, but they want to see the photos, right? They're not going to go anywhere without seeing the photos. They don't want to become leads without looking at the photos. So I personally choose a template that only has one photo instead of showing, some of these websites you can just slide through and see every photo. Well, why would they register then? Unless they are asking specifically for information on that property. And what we know right now about people online is they don't want to give up their information easily. And they're not just going to register for everything. And they know every Tom, Dick, and Harry is trying to force registration. And so you've got to give them something that they want. And so this is another reason why I like this particular IDX solution, is because I can change these. And there's a whole bunch of different templates. And if you get into CSS, if you like coding and playing with your own websites, you can change everything. You can change the size, the colors, what's on the page. You can add borders and boxes and all kinds of fancy schmancy stuff there. Okay. So here's an example of what it looks like. So that I showed you earlier where somebody typed in a search, Las Vegas gated communities. This would be the page that they find. All right. Now this is pretty simple. I just titled the page Gated Communities in Las Vegas and Henderson, and then I put in this little code that makes these boxes show up on the page. And it's really simple building these pages. My virtual assistants in the Philippines can do this. My teenager can do this. I'm thinking if you've got a 7 or 8-year-old on the computer these days, they can probably do this. Not that I'm encouraging child labor. If you have your own, obviously pay a minimum wage, pay them well. And follow all the guidelines if you're going to use your children. But my 13-year-old does do it sometimes for me, and she gets paid for it. But it's really simple. So what you want to do is kind of create a framework for your website and say, all right, what do I want it to look like? Well, on a WordPress platform, there's a hierarchy that is very SEO friendly, and you have pages and sub pages, or parent pages and child pages. And on your blog site, you have categories and posts. And this is a very SEO friendly way to do your website framework there, and your hierarchy. And so I start with my counties. See all homes in Clark County. And then I build pages underneath counties. Okay, here's all the cities that are in Clark County. Now, here's all the neighborhoods that are in Clark County. Here's all the zip codes. Here's all the school zones. Here's all the homes by price, by style, by features. And I build out a page for every single one of those. And all it is a title and a little short code, which is called a widget. And super easy to build through our IDX, okay? Also, I love, love, love building niches. So homes near military bases, luxury homes, waterfront homes, golf course homes, age restricted, condos, high rises, lofts, flats, beach property, historic homes. Okay. And I've got, if you're looking for the how to, I don't go into it on a keynote because not all of you guys are going to have IDX Broker. So I want you to kind of use the idea that I'm giving you. Most real estate agents get their websites and they have this little, it comes with 5 pages and it's got all of their listings fed in there automatically. And if a buyer uses that little search widget on the home page, okay, I want to find all homes, they drop it down to 5-bedroom and then they drop down their price range. That's going to take them to a results page, but that does nothing for you as far as the search engines go, generally. You have to build out each one of those. Homes for sale in Las Vegas, under 200,000. Homes for sale in Las Vegas, under 300. Homes for sale in Las Vegas, under 400. 3-bedroom homes under 200. 4-bedroom homes under 200. Homes under 200 with a pool. Homes under 200 with a basement. Homes under 500 with a mother-in-law quarters. Golf course frontage properties at this price range, this price range, this price range. That is how I rank so well in the search engines, is because I actually take the time to create all of those pages myself that rank on the search engines. Okay? Not hard to do. You just have to know how to do it. Hop on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lori Ballin. And if you type in IDX in the search engine, you're going to see a lot of the how-to of exactly how I do those. And I also do have a training system called the Ballin Method. And you can find that at theballinmethod.com. And it's got videos and webinars and articles and tutorials, and it's a complete training system on how to do all this stuff that I do. So if you're at that point now where you go, okay, I really want to learn more, how do I do that? Check out theballinmethod.com. All right, so next on our list, we want to make sure that we're providing on our website is home values. Okay, so Zillow created this monster, right, with the Zestimate, and based on their very powerful, strong marketing, most home sellers know that they can go to Zillow and find out how much their home is supposedly worth. Now, we real estate agents hate that, don't we? But you know what? It's if you can't beat them, join them is my philosophy on this. We can combat it all day long, and we can say how stupid it is, and they're not valid. And even what was that article recently that even the owner of Zillow, his own estimate was thousands and thousands of dollars off of what he actually sold his home for, and they'll tell you themselves that it's got a low accuracy rate based on how it's being dynamically created through formulas of recent sales and actives and whatnot. We can't fight it. People are going to go use it. So here's my opinion. We need to have our own tool on our website and offer home values ourselves. Whatever tool it is that you want to use. Those old forms where you find out what your home is worth and fill out a form, they don't work anymore because people know they can get instant home values. The top seller keywords on the Google Keyword Planner that shows how people are searching to find out, when they're going to sell their home is home value calculator, home value estimator. That's what they're looking for. So for us not to have it, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, okay? Now, this particular tool that you're looking at here, this is provided by Listings to Leads. If you use my link, you can actually go on, sign up for free, and you'll get an extended free trial. So they give you more time to use this before you have to give them any money. So my link is listingstoleads.com/Ballin, lowercase. So listings, T-O, leads.com/Ballin, B-A-L-L-E-N. You can find that also at loristools.com, and it's going to be in this video as well. There's lots of different templates, and there's lots of different ways to do this, and you can upload your own pictures in the background. You can make this very hyper-local, very, very local to a neighborhood or a zip code or school zone or whatever you want to do on there. You can change that text there, and it is going to give them an instant home value estimate, and it is powered by the Zestimate. Now, here's how I handle this. So they go online, they type this in, they get an instant home value estimate that we know is probably not accurate. So they immediately get an email from me, and the title of my email is why your estimate may not be right. So as soon as they get this estimate, they also get an email from me saying it's wrong, essentially. And once they open the email, they land on this landing page that I've created. And my landing pages, I built this one on Lead Pages. So you could build this on something like this on Listings to Leads. You could use Lead Pages. There's other ways to do that. But BombBomb is another one that has video that you could play, and you have them land on your own website. Lots of ways to do this. But when they click on the email to find out why their estimate's probably not right, they land on this landing page, and it's me on a video explaining this estimate and explaining all of these differences. And I need to redo it now because I have much better lighting and cameras than I had at the time that I shot this video, but the video is still very powerful. And then it comes with an email that basically explains how their Zestimate was figured. I'm not saying anything bad about Zillow whatsoever. I'm just saying here's the formula. And this is probably why it's not super accurate. And we'd like to have one of our agents come out to your home and do a true CMA. And we do get listings from this, okay? Now, there's something new. Listings to Leads offers a partial to full lead info now, which is really, really cool, using Cole Realty Source, or Cole Realty. And what it does is, if the person doesn't put in their phone number, it scans the web for the information and gives us their phone number. And it also lets us know if they're on the do not call list. And then it tells us some other things about the home. You know, when did they buy the home? How are they the actual owner of the home? You know, does the lead name match the title? How much do they owe on the home? This is fantastic for me. I track all this, and I actually have a graph that I save so I can see what percentage of my leads were valid, what percentage actually own a home, and the debt ratio. You know, how much equity on average the homeowner has that contacts me, how long they've lived in the house on average. It's interesting. My listings, the people that actually list with me from these lead sources, average a 10-year home ownership. I like to know that data. I think it really helps me in my marketing. And also, you know, a lot of these people are looky-loos. They just bought the house. You know, if I see on there that the date says they bought the home in 2016, I can stop chasing them right now because they're not a real lead. They're somebody that wanted to see if they got a good deal on the house, you know. And if they have no equity, I know it's a potential short sale. So now I'm going to put them on a short sale drip instead of on my regular drip. So how I communicate now to cultivate these leads makes a difference based on this upgrade of having this information. Okay, really valuable. Another reason I like the Listings to Leads home valuation tool is because it provides me with the IP address, just like IDX Broker did. So you can see here that I can type in the IP address in Clicky, and I can see that they landed on my home valuation page. I can see that this was a Facebook ad, and then if that person lists and sells, I can assign ROI obviously to that Facebook ad. Okay, there again, listingstoleads.com/Ballin. All right. Everybody breathe. I was peeking out the back door to check on my cat. He's still there. All right. So now moving into 2017, huge with Google, and a major part of the ranking factors for 2017 is reviews. So if you are a real estate agent that has gotten passive about collecting reviews, now is the time to kick that back into high gear. Okay. Reviews, I'm not going to go too deeply into this. I actually posted a video the other day that was about a half an hour long on this topic and some suggestions on how to get reviews. But it's really important that you get them, however you get them, okay? So you could use Zillow for your reviews. You can use Yelp for your reviews. You can use Facebook for your reviews. You can use Angie's List. You can use Google Plus. Wherever you gather them, gather them. Google now is able to even listen to brand mentions. So somebody could say on Facebook, I just closed a home with Lori Ballin, and she was fantastic. Her team was great to work with. And if I have any other real estate needs in Las Vegas, I will make sure I contact Lori Ballin. They can, without that going on any of those review portals, it can still factor in. Also, if somebody posts a negative comment anywhere, anywhere on the web, social media, a comment on a blog post, a comment on a video on a YouTube channel. They read and hear all of that. So a negative review can also hurt you on the search engine ranking. So it's important to respond to negative reviews, respond intelligently, and not get nasty, and work to turn that in your favor. And there's a lot of strategies around that. And everybody's going to get a negative review at some point, or it's not going to look natural. It would be very surprising for something not to sneak in there. But reviews are very important. So you got to work on that this year. Local SEO. Local SEO is also incredibly important, and not too hard to do if you focus on it. A lot of times when people go to the search engines, Google will show this local pack, and you'll see it. It doesn't always appear, and now they're actually selling advertising in the local pack, so it's changing a little bit again. But what happens here is Google wants to reward local. It wants to show, it's not really that it wants to reward local as much as it wants to return the most relative page for that consumer, for that searcher on Google, and it will assume that the local business will often be more relative to what that visitor is looking for. So if they're going to type in Las Vegas homes for sale, they're probably not going to get a local pack. They're going to get a whole bunch of websites that have homes for sale. But if they're looking for a Las Vegas, they're looking for a real estate agent, and they type that in, now they're likely to get actual businesses that show up in this local pack. And the better you are with your local SEO, the more consistent you are with your NAP, which stands for name, address, and phone number, across a multitude of websites that have your profile and link back to your website, the more likely you are to show up in these search results, okay? So it's called a citation when another website references your business by name, address, and phone number. So there's going to be a citation there that somebody's referring to you. So this might be your Facebook business page, your Google Plus page, Yelp, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, our own websites, yellowpages.com, Foursquare, any of those places where you set up a profile, your name, address, and phone number should be consistent. Okay, so there's a scoring system where they're going to measure, how consistent it is. Do you have duplicates? Are you missing the phone number on this page? Are there variations? Are you calling yourself one name on this site and then you're adding the word realtors or your company or something on this other site? So the more unified you get all of that, the better. So you start by going to google.com/business and set up your business page the way you want it to read. What is your name of your business, your phone number, your address, and your website, and make sure you save this, and that is how you set up your profiles forever after that. Okay, if you ever change anything, you move or you change your phone number, which I keep having to go through all this stuff, you got to go back and change it on all of them, or you drop out of the local pack again. So it's really important for your local SEO to have this. Here's a list of some more local citations. So Facebook, I mentioned Yellow Pages, Bing Places, Best of the Web, Insider Pages, Hot Frog, Super Pages, Foursquare. Those are all some of the places where you can go get some more local citations that drive back to your website. So if you want to put some work into that. I know that Moz, we're working on it in my marketing company at Ballin Brands. We are working on a local SEO service that we'll be able to provide you guys soon, but it's not there yet. So in the meantime, check out moz.com/local. And there's something there where you can pay $80 or whatever it is, and they'll help set up all your local citations. So in my opinion, it's worth doing to get your local SEO set up. All right. So let me grab a drink here, and we're going to go on to content. All right, so guys, content is the present, the future of real estate marketing. It is not going away. It's just going to be a big push for content. Basically, content is anything you're putting out on the web with the desire to attract business. So you are a content marketer if you're making videos. You are a content marketer if you are publishing your listings, marketing your listings. You're a content marketer if you're posting on Facebook anything about your real estate business to drive interest. If you're tweeting, if you're Instagram, if you're posting on Instagram, if you're sending a newsletter, if you're marketing your listings online, sending out on an email, any of that, you are doing content marketing. So congratulations, you are probably a content marketer. But what we need to focus on in our content marketing is how do we provide quality? Because that's what the search engines are looking for. That's what the consumers are working for. It is a loud, noisy world on the web out there, right? I mean, gosh, there's so much content and people are just buried in it and they're trying to avoid it, but yet they're searching for it all day long. But they're searching for unique, quality content, okay? And I'm not talking about, guys, we're going to talk about how to blog in a minute. I'm not talking about here's the top 10 tips for staging your home. That is so generic. You can get that everywhere, anywhere, and so it's not special, it's not unique. But if you were to create a blog post called how top 10 tips for selling your home with 9 cats, you're going to be hitting a niche. You're going to be hitting a very specific target, how to buy a home in a 55 plus community. And you're going to be very specific to that demographic and to the golf courses and to the amenities and to the active lifestyles and to the entertainment. And, so that's quality. Quality is unique. It's timely. If it reaches everybody, it's probably not a super quality piece. The quality pieces are going to be targeted. They're going to solve a problem, answer a question. They're going to be local. They're going to be niche oriented, okay? So let's look at what some of the content that actually drives traffic. And again, I've got some real deal examples here that I'm going to show you. So my website at the time of this, when I first made this, had 70,000 pages. I'm actually higher than that now. I created about 4,000 and the rest are dynamically created through IDX. So, obviously every listing that you do have on your website that's fed through IDX technically is a page. So you'll have a bunch of pages for listings that pop up and they go away, and they pop up and they go away. The listing sold, they go away. These aren't the manual ones that I was talking about creating, okay? But what's interesting is out of the 4,000 pages here that I physically built myself, which again, I could build 100 of those in a day, no problem, if they're just the titles and a widget. About 100 of those are the majority of my leads, which is so funny. And if you actually look at them, they're the most niche oriented and the most specific. So here's a real deal example. Now, again, this is fed in, my tracking here is fed in through our tool, Infusionsoft tracking tool. And then my reporting system I'm using here is called ClickData or ClickData. I believe it's a company in France, and they take our Infusionsoft data and give us the ability to create graphs and reports around all of that kind of stuff. Super geeky and wonderful because I'm able to show you guys proof of what actually works, which is really cool. So you'll see here, I don't know if you guys are spotting the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the room would be negative. So I don't know if you're spotting the clear winners here on this page. But these are the content pages that brought in my 2016 leads, okay? Now, those little slivers, the little pie slivers, they're all bringing in leads, but we're going to focus on those larger pieces. So if you look down there on the bottom left at that purple one, 19.84% of my leads last year came from one page on my website. Did you hear that? 19.84% of my lead flow came in from one page on my website, on a website that has 7,000 pages. Incredible, absolutely incredible. That is what happens when you hit the nail on the head with a niche, okay? It was an accident. I was simply building out every possible feature that I could find that my MLS provides. And horse property, equestrian property, horse on property happened to be one of them. I didn't know there was a demand for it. And I built that page, went straight to number one, and it's never stopped. And now I get a lot of great leads on people that are either looking for land or horse property, homes, not land, but homes on an acre or ranch style homes. They all tend to look in that same general area. And so it's organically driving a large part of my business, and it's fantastic. Another one I'll point out there on the right is 11.22% have come from homes with pools 100K to 200K. Now, if I did not take the time to build out a page with a title and a little widget for my IDX listings, I never would be getting those leads. If I just left my website alone and let it do what every other real estate agent does, it doesn't go in and build these out, that would never be happening. Okay, so it's a pretty significant thing to have this website built with all of these pages. So if you can find the hot feature in your market, is it a mother-in-law quarters? Is it a guest house? Is it homes with a walkout basement? Is it homes on, the mountain view? Is it waterfront? What is the niche in your market? If you can find it and build that page, you could generate enough business from one page to keep you very happy. So and then here's my top performing blog posts. So what credit score is needed to buy a house? 12.24% of my leads that come from blog traffic came from that page. Information about Nevada property taxes, 14.29%. Closing costs when selling a home, that brings me in listings, 20.41%. So this is the example of how these blogs can be really powerful to generate leads. Now, the best content informs. So here's an example of the blogs that we write, and they're based on the questions that our buyers and sellers are asking us. Okay, so you go to an appointment and you say to the buyer, okay, now we're at the point where we need to have an appraisal. Well, what is an appraisal? That's a blog post. Okay, the seller, you're talking to the seller and go, before we put your home on the market, we might want to go ahead and have an appraisal in advance just to kind of see how much it might sell for so we can price it close. Okay, seller says, what's an appraisal? That's a blog post. What happens in the home buying process? That's a blog post. How do I know if I'm ready to buy a home? Should I buy or should I rent? How do lenders determine the loan amount? Do I need a lawyer to buy a house? All of these questions are actual questions that buyers and sellers ask. You create a blog post, you write a title, you create the content, you've got a winner there on the search engines too. So here's actual examples. These are actually the way people searched and found my website. Buy home Las Vegas, how much to down payment? That is how people really search. Okay, so when they found my blog post called "The Down Payment When Buying a Home in Las Vegas." Now, Google has gotten smart over the years. We no longer have to type in our keyword over and over and over again to tell Google what our page is about. We no longer have to exact match keyword phrases, as this is an example. That's complete skewed of what my blog title is, what's on my blog site, but Google now reads topic and it reads intent. It understood what that buyer was looking for and returned my website. Okay. Also in 2017, instead of stuffing in our keywords over and over and over again, Google now is RankBrain is fed by semantic search, which essentially says, all right, we want to see similar keywords. Other pages that have the word down payment also have the keyword phrase buying a home, money down, low mortgage rates or mortgage rates as a keyword phrase. They're looking for those similarity. They're looking for those like terms. And what Google can now do is it can take all the top page one ranking pages, compare them against each other and say, all right, all 5 of these pages that rank for down payment also have the phrase real estate on their page, or also have the word mortgage. That's definite right there, right? All of these pages that have down payment also have the word mortgage on their page somewhere. And so it looks at the new blog posts and pages that are coming on and it will rank them based on, does it have those other keyword phrases are also, because if it doesn't, then they're probably not providing the same amount of value that those other 5 pages are that are on page 1. So it looks for this the semantic indexing. It's looking for these similar keywords. Okay, and there are tools out there you can use to find these similar keywords. If you go to lauriestools.com, one of the ones that I use is SEMrush is a tool that I use. There's a free one out there that I've just started playing with called LSI Graph, as in lion, S as in Sam, I as in igloo, graph. And you can type in down payment and it'll give you the semantic keywords suggestions that you might also want to put on your page. And there's plugins and stuff for your WordPress websites if you want to. I actually like those better than the traditional Yoast plugin. Actually, I've been seeing some stuff from Yoast lately. The newer updates look like they're heading that direction too. But the old scores of simply, do you have it in the keyword in your title? Do you have the keyword in your heading? Do you have the keyword in your alt image of your picture? You know, that's a little old school. It's more now about the content. What does your content look like, and is it valuable, and is it packed in? If it has these other keywords, then you've probably covered all the topics, and that's now what they're looking for. So, how to increase luck in a home, and they found my blog post all about how to bury the St. Joseph statue. Nevada closing costs, they find a page on my website all about closing costs, okay? How about this one? Buyer types in Las Vegas real estate under 400,000 and finds my web page that has no words on it. It only has a search widget and it ranks #1 on the search engines. And you can see here, this is the back end of the WordPress panel. At the bottom left there, it says word count 6. You know, there's times when we need to put lots of words on the page and there's times when we don't. If we can satisfy the user's intent with 6 words in a widget, that's all we need on the page. So this is an exact example of those widget pages that I build. There's the title, Las Vegas real estate under 400,000. There's that little widget. That's that little code that you put in there. And then it just says Las Vegas real estate under 400,000. That's the total content on the page. Okay, pretty incredible stuff. Now let's talk about hyperlocal, the power of hyperlocal. Now here's what I would tell you is if you haven't done the other stuff I've covered, I don't think you should start with this portion that I'm about to show you. But for some reason when I teach, everybody does it the flip side. They go home and they do the local stuff and they don't do the other stuff. And I'm not sure if this is just more fun or I don't know what it is, but I would prefer you to have your website structured first, have your real estate articles built first. You know, what is an appraisal? What is a down payment? What credit score? That type of thing. And then start on your local. And by the way, a couple tips on the real estate articles. One, you can hire a company like mine to write those. At ballandbrands.com, we will do your blogging and your real estate articles and your real estate monthly market reports. So you can reach out to us there. Another way to do it if you're not a writer is, excuse me, take your recorder, your phone, whatever you have there, and speak the answer instead of type it. So you would say to your recorder, what is a home appraisal? And then you would answer it. A home appraisal is a way to get an estimated home valuation of your home. An appraisal is used in the lending process to determine whether or not the home is actually worth what the buyer is asking for the loan to finance, you know, that type of thing. And you just rattle it off like you would if you when you're sitting in front of that buyer or seller. You answer their question. Then you send that recording off. I use a company called rev.com, R-E-V. R as in rabbit, E as in elephant, V as in Victor, rev.com. And for $1 a minute, they will transcribe your verbal word to written word, and you have a blog post. Okay? So there's no excuses. You can do it on video, and you can have your video transcribed. You know, there's even if you're not a blogger and a writer, you can answer these questions. You're a real estate agent. You're the expert. So do it on video or do it on audio, okay? So why do we want to do local? Well, there's lots of reasons. Local shows that you are a specialist in the area. And as a real estate agent, really, shouldn't we be local specialists? Shouldn't we know our general area? Shouldn't we understand the schools and neighborhoods and the zip codes and what this community offers that this community doesn't offer? As real estate agents, we are prohibited through fair housing regulations to steer towards or away from a particular neighborhood. We're also prohibited to discuss familial status, race, or any of those types of things. So I completely avoid demographic conversations. But we can talk about what the average home price is, or the average sale price is, or the average income is, or the school system ratings, and provide links to that type of thing. But then we can also talk about what's happening in that neighborhood. What new construction is coming up that might affect home values? What is the new school going to be like? What special events are happening? Those types of things show that you're the local specialist, and they really do well in the search engines. Okay. Now, when somebody is looking for a list of the best restaurants in the neighborhood, are they also likely looking for real estate? No, not necessarily. If I'm looking for the best steakhouse that opens before 4 p.m., which is actually one of my searches that I found, I'm not necessarily looking to buy or sell a house. But what happens is I find this steakhouse, I find this website that's got this list, and Google stores a memory that I performed a search and I landed on that website. Then it tracks, did I click anything? Did I download anything? Did I take any other action? How long was I on the website? Did it satisfy my intent, or did I bounce back to the search engines and perform another search? Okay. Let's say they went to our website, it satisfied their intent, they stayed on there for a couple of minutes, maybe they clicked through to download the list or a coupon or look at images or something like that. Now, they never did anything real estate related, but the fact that they did just that creates a memory and a relationship now in the eyes of Google. So Google now believes our website might be a relative response to that searcher's queries. And the next time they perform a search related to local or real estate or anything that might be on our website, we're likely to rank even higher now for that user than we did before. So we're bringing them in through local value to create a relationship, to build this long-term funnel that when that person does search buying or selling real estate terms, they're likely to find our website over somebody else's. Okay, so it's a long-term strategy. Also, you do luck into people that are going to buy or sell real estate. Absolutely do. I get leads all the time from those that actually are looking to buy or sell real estate. And on that blog post, I simply put a pricing table or a featured listing or something like that to hint that I also have these real estate items available, or find out what your home is worth, and people will register there as well. You can also offer items of value and put these people into a long-term drip email campaign, a long-term local funnel. So you might say, hey, here's a list of all the everything happening for 4th of July in Las Vegas. Here's where to buy fireworks. Here's where to see the parade. Here's where to see fireworks at night. Here's what's happening in the local bars for the adults. Here's some fun stuff to do for the kids. And you've got this great long form content page all about 4th of July. And then you offer a map of where the fireworks stands are or something. And then you ask for registration to get that map. Now that person is registered as a local, and you can now put them in a local drip campaign that is not shoving real estate down their throat, but is offering other local items of value throughout the year. So here's topics to write about. Hot topics in every market are best of lists. Okay. Best places to best shows, best bars, best restaurants, best daycare, best dog shampooer, that best hair salon, best nail salon. They love that stuff. Now you can accumulate your best of lists by asking on social media and getting people's opinions and form a list on that. You could use Yelp and do it by reviews. There's lots of ways to do the best of. You can email your database and say, hey, everybody, I'm compiling this blog of the best hair salons. Where do you think is the best hair salon? And let your database respond. And now you've created a touch, and they're involved, they're responsive. That's a win-win-win all the way around, right? So there's an example of a way to get more ideas. If you go to Google, the search bar, and start typing in, this is an example from when I taught in Greenville, South Carolina, type in best and then put in your city and start looking at what it suggests. What happens here with this predictive indexing here, Google is going to assume what you might want to know based on searches that have occurred like in the last 90 days. And so somebody searched best towing, Greenville best places to live, best French toast. Now some of these are going to be funny and you might go, yeah, I don't know about that. Or you might try it and you might actually hit the mother lode because everybody really wants to find the best French toast in Greenville, South Carolina. But these are ideas for you to create your best of list, and this is free. You just go to Google and type that in, okay? If you do have access to the Google Keyword Planner, which is a tool through Google AdWords, it also has suggestions like this. If you use my link for the SEM Rush, you can also type in best Las Vegas, and then it'll give, for example, and it will give you a bunch of suggestions. There's lots of ways to do this. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in some of this and find out what's coming up on the YouTube channel. There's all kinds of ideas on how to get these. Another very popular category, and again, in my case, these are blog posts. So they're categories and blog posts. And living in would be a category. So living in Las Vegas, and then the blog post would be the transportation. Living in Las Vegas, this category blog post would be the school system. Living in Las Vegas, the category would be the zip codes. Living in Las Vegas is the category, and the blog post would be the average temperatures. So that anybody that would be looking to move in that market, what would they be looking for? DMV, transportation, jobs, licensing. So all of that stuff would go into your living in category, okay? And here's an example when I pulled up living in Greenville, some of the suggestions. So living downtown, average cost of living, assisted living. So these would be things I would go create blog posts around now because there are people actually searching those terms. Another very, very popular topic in every market is things to do in. So things to do on a date, things to do on your honeymoon, things to do when visiting, things to do when it's raining, things to do with kids on a budget, things to do for free, things to do with your boyfriend, things to do on Saturday, things to do for 4th of July. So here's an example, of course, things to do on Mother's Day, Memorial Day, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, gosh, you could go crazy with that, things to do. And I think that's why people go do this one instead of the real estate articles, because this is more fun. You can easily hire a virtual assistant to make your lists. These are just lists. Things to do in Las Vegas, the dolphin habitat. And then we do a little paragraph on the dolphin habitat. Things to do in Las Vegas. The shows, I might have a little tips on finding the best shows. Things to do in Las Vegas, the buffets, and you could give these to a virtual assistant or a ghostwriter, and they can put these things together pretty simple, pretty easily. Okay, restaurant lists, guides, reviews, very popular, and oh my gosh, you guys, everything pets. Dog walkers and dog boarding places, and dog is actually more popular as a keyword phrase than pet. Dog is the number one when I search this. So dog parks, a website, condos that accept dogs over 30 pounds. Best neighborhoods in Las Vegas for dogs, and I could make a list of dog-friendly neighborhoods that have specific things there for the dogs. Those types of things are incredibly valuable for people that are, they were asking about homeowners association rules and am I going to have to pay pets extra to have pets in that particular neighborhood, things like that. And what seems to be the all-time favorite in almost every market, not in Louisiana. That was hilarious. I taught in Louisiana, and that was the one market this is not true in, but in almost every market, one of the top search terms is, I'll give you a second, can you guess? Pizza. Almost every market, pizza is a big one. So to create a blog post called Where to Get the Best Pizza in Las Vegas, Where to Get the Best Pizza in San Diego, and I guess it's not popular in Louisiana because they have the best food on the planet, right? They're this big culinary place, and pizza's not on the top of their list, I guess, right? All right, so another thing I would just like to touch on as far as a way to get more leads through your real estate website is by manually marketing your real estate listings. So again, because of the IDX feed and because of the syndication, so many of us just put our leads into the MLS, we let it syndicate out, and that's all we do. Well, when you do that, what happens is Zillow gets your leads, Realtor, everybody else gets your leads, but you, okay? Go ahead and type it in. Go to either go to an incognito window on your computer or go to a clean computer that you have not been on and type in one of your listing addresses. And you'll probably have a heart attack because the odds are good that you're not even on page 1 for your own listing. Now you might say, oh, well, Realtor.com came up number 3, and that's actually my listing. And if you click through on it, it's got your information or it's got your phone number, or your brokerage comes up if you're lucky, and that's got your phone number on it. But that does not help you as far as getting that buyer to register on your website, creating that relationship with that visitor on your website. They're on Realtor.com, they're not on your website. They're on KW.com, they're not on your website, right? And so no relationship is stored with Google. There's no memory created there. And if that customer is not listed in that, they're not interested in that property because it has 4 bedrooms instead of 3, or it's a 2-story instead of a single story, and they eliminate it, if they're on Realtor.com, they're going to start browsing on Realtor.com. So now you have fed the lead to Realtor.com, and it's not coming back to you. So you want to rank on the search engines through your website, through your blog post, through your classified ads, anything that's going to bring that person back to you, your contact info, your website, and they start browsing listings on your website. So this is an example. This guy, he shows up in front of this house and he sees the yard sign and he grabs his phone. And in the old days, he would have been typing in the phone number. But today in 2017, he's Googling the address instead. He doesn't want to talk to a real estate agent. Not in most markets, okay? So here's an example, proof that they are searching by address over and over and over and over again. So I have complete instructions for this in the Ballin Method at theballinmethod.com. And what you want to do is you want to create a new blog post or page on your website. Title it by the exact address. So however Google shows it, 123 Main ST for street, Las Vegas, comma, NV, the initials, and the zip code. That you title it by that address. Okay, your title tag is very relevant with Google, and you want to make sure the first time you blast this listing out there that you're doing it by address. Okay, create a video for the property. Publish it on YouTube and Vimeo and anywhere else. You could Facebook Live it, title it by the address. Guys, tweets and Facebook posts are being indexed. So if somebody goes and types in that search engine, your video could come up, your Facebook link could come up, your tweet could come up. You want to have that, have it everywhere you can possibly get it, okay? On your blog post that you're going to create, you're going to put in the listing address, you're going to put in information about the property, you're going to put in a call to action to register for more info, you're going to put in similar properties, and your goal is to get that person registering either to find out more information about that property or another property. You want them clicking through and taking action and staying on there. And then once you create that, go do classified ads like classifiedads.com and realtytimes.com is another one you can do it on, and Oodle, and anywhere you can post a classified ad, Craigslist, anywhere that you can put the title of that address and link it back to you or put your phone number. You want to take the time to do this, okay? Again, you can have an admin do this, you can have a virtual assistant do this, you can have my marketing company at Ballin Brands do this, whatever it is, but this is important, guys. Take the time to market your listing and get those leads back, because right now the portals have them all and it's brutal. All right. So reminder to check out listingsleads.com/Ballin. Make sure that you're tracking everything. No real estate agents really want to track, and I did not either. Trust me, it was not my thing to track. But I knew what that tracking would do for me and how much information it would give to me. So, if you track it, you know. If you don't track it, you're guessing. And do you want to make big decisions on guesswork? You might be surprised where your business is really coming from or where it's really not coming from once you actually start tracking. So I use Clicky, as I said earlier, and it tells me visitors to my website, actions on my website, bounce rates, how long they spent on my website. And another great tool out there that's free is Google Search Console. And if you go to Google Search Console, which used to be called Google Webmaster Tools, it's now called Google Search Console, you can actually see what keyword phrases, some of the queries that people are using to find your website, what your clicks are, what the click-through rate is, what average position you rank for. And this is a really powerful free tool that you can use to kind of get an idea for what's working on your website and what's not working. And it's pretty simple to set up. You want to know what websites are linking back to you and sending you traffic, okay? That's really an important thing to do. And you can do some of that there with Clicky as well. and you can measure your tracking time over time. And some of the keyword phrases that people use are going to show up there on your Clicky um, tool, and that's very, very beneficial. Now, just remember though, you've got to create a discipline. You have to spend time on task. You have to do it with a lot of purpose, track and measure, and optimize for conversion. This is what's going to get you leads all year long, whether you're in line at Disneyland, whether you're sleeping, you're taking some time off, and you're on a cruise and you want to make sure those leads are coming in and your team is being fed. You do that by following all of these steps and by optimizing for conversion. And I'll just remind you that you can learn more and train on this at home at theballenmethod.com. If you do need help, you need a good real estate website, you want to get IDX Broker, you need your Clicky Analytics installed, you're looking for more content, and how do I get this content written for me because I don't have the time to do it, you're going to reach out to ballenbrands.com, and we'll be able to talk to you about that. We also handle pay-per-click marketing, Facebook advertising, that type of thing. So that's it for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining me.